Hello again, YouTube. Truth Man here. The channel is the No Matrix, No Simping, All Subjects channel. Shout out to all of my subscribers. If you haven't done so, but you watch my videos, feel free to do so. Shout out to my supporters, in particular the financial ones, the ones that break their green bread with me. Appreciate y'all. Blessings to you. We getting back into some black history content. You can call it black current content too. I want to talk about something. This is important, man. Like, I want to talk about the big three things that those who wanted us to be on the bottom pushed in our communities, in our neighborhoods, in our minds. And y'all fell for it. And I fell for it for a while too. I did too. I did. If you saw how I was...
Use the right lane to take the I-41 US 45 ramp.
If you saw how I was at 19, 20, 21, 22, even still residue of it at 23, and even years after that, the damage was done. I had to learn. Like, I made a lot of mistakes in my early adult life. Because I didn't have my temperament all the way under control yet. So, what they did was, when it was, okay, let me go backward. When it was mainly blacks and whites and segregation and all of that was in the world, we actually did better financially because we sympathized with each other and we bought from each other and we dealt with each other. We helped each other. But then they made us and they influenced us to hate each other. How did they do it? What's the big three I'm talking about? Thug life, drugs, and obsession with sex. Let's start with thug life. They gave us gangsters. They showed us about the people from the Wild Wild West. See, back in the Wild Wild West, that's back when Black Wall Street was going on. Our people was dignified. You know, had money, had their own businesses, bought from each other businesses, did things together. While that Wild West, Jesse James and all that, that was them. That wasn't us. We got that from them, see? That's what I'm talking about today. Do your research. We got that from them. That ain't how we was. We was just trying to make it in this world. Then they start presenting to us these Westerns. Jesse James, what's his name? Wild Bill, all them. Those was all white guys, white cowboys. We didn't even know about the Thuggy Clique, which was in India. They was doing that in India. While all of our dignification, while we was just trying to make it in this world, they was doing that. Let's see. Wait, hold on. I gotta keep track of the time. We got that from them, y'all. We didn't have gangs. That wasn't our thing. And so, in fact, do your research. Most gangs started out as demonstrations, political type of things. Taking a stand. Trying to do something in this world. That's how it started out. I'm finna show you. Y'all bought into it. Y'all bought into it. That's why these Indians, nothing against them, they live very respectful lives, but they capitalized on the deception against us. deceiving Martin Luther King, thinking his protest was going to accomplish something meaningful for us. Then he saw a long time ago the agendas. The agendas of people that, like I told you, anything I say about the Democrats is going to have the lowest views out of all my videos. But y'all can do that all y'all want. They still going to lose. Trump finna win, man. Y'all might as well just face it. You ought to do some heavy duty cheating to stop it. And here we go with this, man. They crashing, man. I'm telling you, that'll make you late for work. Some stuff affect them too. Like some stuff affects everybody, but a lot of stuff affected us the most. Thug life is the first thing, like I said. A lot of guys, since they gave us Superfly, they gave us Goldie, they gave us all of those pimps, drug dealers, so on and so forth. So a lot of people, including my father, was trying to be like them, and some of them lost their lives in the process. So that family tree was cut off from all the dudes that lost their lives in the 60s and 70s trying to be like thugs, gang members, gangsters, trying to be like Al Capone, trying to be like John Gotti, Scarface. I mean, if you notice, every decade they gave us a gangster or two. In the 90s, they gave us Nino Brown and a couple other ones. Frank White, told us about Frank White. In the 2000 era, they told us about Lucas. It was always a gang, a gangster that they presented to us. And a lot of us fell for it. You know how I say they? Because we don't own no major motion picture studios like that. We don't own no major motion picture studio. So, they gave us the gangsters. They gave us Thug Life. We learned about Tookie Williams. But Tookie Williams, towards the end, was doing something positive. He was trying to get them to stop the violence. But it was too late. In the 90s, they also gave us Colors. 1991. That's when Don Cheadle and all these... Don Cheadle, y'all know Don Cheadle was in Colors, right? He was Rocky. Damon Wayans was in Colors. So here's what they did. A lot of the A-listers and high-level celebrities in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, they presented them as gangsters and then rewarded them for doing it. And the ones that wasn't presented as gangsters, they was presented in drag. Y'all know I ain't lying. Now, all of this contributed to all the foreigners we see in our neighborhoods getting that money because our minds is messed up. And we got to undo all that damage before we do something worthwhile. And then when we start making it, they try to get us to join their little groups. So they gave us Thug Life, gave it to us. It was agents in all of those gangs causing crime. If y'all saw the movie Panther, right? Huey Newton didn't start all that crime. So they gave us Thug Life, which they knew would lessen our numbers. They gave us Integration, which they knew would pit us against each other. Some of us would think we're better than each other. The next thing is drugs, even going back to the 80s. So in the 60s, they presented cocaine and other drugs, PCP and other drugs. Gave us Jimi Hendrix, who was doing those drugs. And then some people believe he died from drugs. I don't know. Because Jimi Hendrix and all of them, they was trying to get back. Sam Cooke, all of them. They was trying to get back to being together, and they was just getting mysteriously dying off. So they gave us drugs. That's the second thing. In the 80s, Rick Ross with the Contra thing, working with the U.S. government and other people. They gave us Superfly in the 70s because they knew that they was manufacturing those drugs and they was finna make them touch down in the U.S. And then crack hit in 1985. And look how many people OD'd. Look how many people wasn't productive in the workplace. Look how many people messed over their family. Look how many people ended up in jail. I'm telling you, all of what you see is the inferiority of the other races towards us, so they weakened us and brainwashed us and made the things that we should have been avoiding look appealing. Thug life. You had, in the 90s, you had movies about them stealing cars, New Jersey Drive. I mean, it had a major negative effect on us, man. For real, man. So, they gave us drugs. They gave us all the music in the 90s, like even late 80s, past, what'd he say, past the Dutchie? That's talking about weed. So drugs would be number 2. And I'm gonna be going back to the number 3 is the obsession with sex. They gave us porn, Ebony this, Ebony that. We watching it too. We watching it. The women who we see in everyday life and view as sexy, we seeing them on film, butt naked, getting done. So now it's the obsession with sex. The 70s, porn. 80s, porn. 90s, porn. And every decade they had new stars. You had y'all know I know some of them. I've been watching that stuff since I was a kid. Janet Jackson, Ebony Eyes, y'all, hey, y'all dudes my age, y'all know. Stop fronting. Don't front now. Keep it real. All of them. What's her name? Jeannie Pepper. Is that her name? All of them. Pretty black women showing it all. Showing it all. So, obsession with sex. Then we had Luke. Luke is more of a productive citizen now. But in the 90s, when I was starting to come to age, I used to look for Luke videos. Just hoping to see somebody. That gave us Benny Hill. Remember Benny Hill? Y'all remember Benny Hill? Stop front. Y'all remember Benny Hill. Y'all need to stop front. We used to, as kids, we used to watch Benny Hill all night, hoping to see something. Then you had They had regular wrestling, but when we watched men's wrestling, we wasn't thinking about how they was dressed. We just was enjoying the entertainment, the storylines and stuff. So then they gave us Glow, though. And now guys is watching that, trying to get peaks, hoping their legs pop open. And boy, they was giving us some peaks too. They was giving us some peaks. Me and my cousin used to watch Glow. Like, I bet her such and such hairy. That kind of stuff. Y'all know I ain't lying. Y'all know I ain't lying. So then, what happened? Teenage pregnancy, which brings poverty. Teenage pregnancy is a problem to this day. And it's a problem because of the obsession with sex. You watching those movies and you seeing those well-endowed dudes taking it to them women. And they moaning and groaning, making all kind of faces, moist. And now you want the woman to be that way for you. So you put sex in front of accolades, accomplishments. We got to get back from that, man, and it's never too late. It's never too late. Y'all should know by now, the Most High blessed y'all. He blessed us all with this red pill content so guys wouldn't throw their whole lives away on these women who don't care anyway, who will tell you that you everything that they are. You're selfish, but it's them. You got a double standard, but it's them. You a control freak, but it's them. These women will try to control even the people you hang around. They put stuff in your head about dudes, this your straight up guys. And now you ain't around them no more. And then when y'all break up, when she cheat on you or she leave you, now your guy don't want nothing to do with you. Obsession with sex, man. I'm telling you. That's what it is. It's an obsession with sex. Other races, they be like, okay, I'm going to focus on this and I'm going to use sex as recreation. The races at the top, that's what they do. Asians, they like it just as much as us. Look how many kids they got. But they be handling that business in the classroom. Yes, there's Asian gangs, but look at the ratio. Asians that commit crimes to Asians that don't. Same thing with Indians. Look at the ratio. When I was working at detention with the juvenile, I only saw like one Indian kid, or no, 3. 2 of them was cousins. The other one, well, no, they was from the Middle East somewhere. The other dude was an Indian. In the first 7 years I was there, that's it. Mostly black, mostly white. See, in their country, they got all the same stuff we got, but they are aroused by making money and being able to support their families more than they are aroused by sex. And that's how we got to the bottom. We bought into other people's lifestyles that were underneath us and that was competing with us. We bought into their lifestyles. And so, as a result, here we are. Working jobs, waiting for paychecks, which ain't nothing wrong with if that's what you want to do. While everybody else have businesses. Like, I'm going along the strip. Bunch of car dealerships. None of them black owned. We had Fred Jones for a while, but they didn't rest till they bought him out. That was the only black major dealership in the Milwaukee area in the 80s and 90s. Was Fred Jones. So those 3, thug life, drugs, selling drugs too. Again, like I said, they trying to be like those gangsters that they saw on TV and that they heard about. And then they go to prison, and now instead of saying, man, I ain't never coming back here again, a couple of them say that, they say they get more arrogant, more cocky, think they tougher, and they end up their whole life. That big three, they going back and forth to each one. Thug life, drugs, obsession with sex. Obsession with sex, drugs, thug life. Thug life, drugs, obsession with sex. They go back and forth to all of that. And how many people have we lost? How many people have we lost to this? To this way of thinking, to this way of life. And as a result, how many people, and then they go to college, they're a good athlete, but they blacklist the black colleges, which back in the day, that's where all of Walter Paytons and Jackie Slaters and Jerry Rice, some of the greatest players of all time, were coming from the SWAC. And then they blacklist the SWAC, and they'll let one through every now and then, but look at the ones they let through. A lot of the ones they let through, not all, I would say, I ain't gonna name none negatively, but I would say like Donald Driver ain't like a Bojangle. That's what I call him now, Bojangle. He not a Bojangle. And Bojangle, don't get me wrong, he was an excellent entertainer. He made a lot of money in his day. But I use the symbolism, symbolic. Entertaining them white folk, trying to make them happy. The character. So, Donald Driver wasn't a Bojangle. And I remember when I was in college, Donald Driver was in college, and we played against them. Steve McNair, one of the most underrated quarterbacks of all time. I knew he was going to be good because I saw him when I was in college. I just could not believe it. He literally practically beat us by himself. 200 yards rushing, 200 yards passing. And we had a very good team. He was just too much. Too much. Running on reverse field and stuff. Steve McNair was Michael Vick before Michael Vick. And actually, they both were very good quarterbacks, but I believe Steve McNair was better than Vick. Even in the pros. He was a little better than Mike Vick. But Mike Vick was pretty good. Then they gave up. Now, if I had to mention a fourth thing, I would say music. Music, they gave us all 3 in 1. All 3 in 1. Thug life, drugs, obsession with sex. Now, I used to listen to Bone Thugs and Harmony. Still do sometimes. Confession. And they had a song, Blood Smokers Only, with and they used to put those old school beats on there that made the song even more good, like they had the Earth, Wind, and Fire beat on that Blood Smokers Only, and they was talking about smoking weed. They hit song, it's the first of the month, get your checks and get up. They talking about selling drug, doing drug. You know, nothing against them, man. I mean, they did what they did, man. They got to live with it. Well, and it's crazy because a lot of these guys, man, it's like you can't hold it against them because look what they doing now. Like, you do look at it like, man, you should have did that back then. They needed that money, man. Because the damage was already done and they had to find ways to make the money that they needed. So, Ice Cube, look at Ice Cube now. Look at a lot of these guys now. Now, some of them still repping that life. And now that life is the life that most of us, you are lame if you don't pursue that life. The strip clubs, obsession with sex. Like the way my mind is now, man, I would never go to a strip club. I'ma have the woman I'm with do all that. That's my strip club, the women I'm with. And she doing that, I'm gonna throw them dollars. So, she stopped doing that, you ain't getting no dollars. The concept itself, if you level-headed, it's not bad. You just gotta do it behind closed doors with somebody meaningful. Somebody that means something to you. Offering you something worthwhile. I ain't going to them strip club looking at them women that probably living the lives that I despise. What I look like? I mean, they got the bodies I like, some of them. But, nah. Gotta pass on that. You know? So, those three things, man, ate us alive. Put us right at the bottom. And once you at that bottom, man, it's hard to get off. Because you be trying to work these jobs. And what they do to whites is they paint pictures, ugly pictures about us in their minds. And so when we come around, we just trying to make it. We trying to make our lives meaningful and do some constructive things with our life. And they want to talk like we back in slavery. They want to talk like we back in slavery or something. And then we either end up quitting or getting fired from a lot of these jobs. And then they taught us to do that to each other. So now, it's now the way it is, it's like, you ain't in the clear just working around all blacks. It depends on their mentality. Now, I'll admit some of the best jobs I done got, the majority of the best job I done got, a black person has something to do with it. What does that tell y'all, man? That says a lot. The white people, a lot of time, sometimes they gave me decent jobs, but a lot of time they gave me jobs that wasn't really gonna put me in a good situation, like, because it wasn't enough money, you know. But those three things, man. The fourth thing I would say is the music, man. And to this day, the people that present things that throw us off. Fifth thing would be the movies. You got dudes dressing in drag. You got all of this murder and these robberies and stuff. Now you got the music talking about robbing people and stuff like that. Shooting people, okay. You talk about shooting people. Let me ask you something. Why would you shoot him over that? So now, the people that listen to it, that's how they live. Because you hear something enough times, it's going to become you. As a man thinketh, so is he. So when you think upon these things that you see and hear, because remember, the ears and the eyes are connected to the head, which stores our brains. Common sense. So what you hear and what you see can become you. You watching gangs and drugs and sex and all that. You ain't reading no books. You ain't doing your homework, trying to learn that schoolwork. You ain't learning how to drive a semi truck or any of that. All you doing, you putting the drugs, which gonna go straight up to your brain, and it's gonna hinder and alter your brain activity. You talking that thug stuff, brandishing guns, you seeing your big brothers doing this. And now it's becoming you, man. Anyway, I'm about to get out of here. Just wanted to talk about that a little bit. Thanks for watching.